and welcome to an all glasses version of Nonprofits. And today we are going to talk about a bunch of high school kids that got illusioned in a good trick. And AJ is going to take us there. So AJ, what do you got for us?
Have you ever clicked on an innocent link and then poof, suddenly you find yourself on someone's OnlyFans? It's called bait and switch. And this is what Brian Drake, a Christian illusionist, is doing across South Carolina public schools in order to recruit teenagers that he can later convert to Christianity. Now, the Freedom from Religion Foundation attempted to stop one of the latest public school magic shows by Drake without success. These events are actually a triple bait and switch. Okay, so first, the teens attend a fun magic show at the school where they're invited to an after-school event at a nearby church. And at this nighttime magic show, suddenly they introduce the main guest, the Lord and Savior Jesus. Now, by sharing the gospel at this second event, they're then invited into Drake's main show, Ground Zero, which is a nonprofit that focuses on getting teenagers into a relationship with Jesus. Now, if this sounds really, really creepy to you, it's because it is. This story is from The Friendly Atheist by Herman Mehta on November 5th, 2024.
You know, before we go anywhere, kudos to Herman Mehta for bringing these stories to the forefront. He's always bringing up really good stories like this. It seems like every week we're picking one of his to do on the nonprofit. So kudos to him because he's out there doing a lot of good work. Cindy, do you think Drake is able to claim the moral high ground after his behavior?
Oh, no. To me, every time I hear a Christian, and it's been like this for a few years, the first word that pops into my mind is hypocrite. All of them. Because Christians are constantly claiming that they have the moral high ground. Like, how many times have you heard you can have morals without God? So they claim that every time. But the second it's no longer convenient, then they'll jump to the ends justify the means paradigm. Because, I'm pretty sure it's going to be what they will say internally if there's any criticism or any voice saying that, we shouldn't be doing that. Lying for Jesus is not a real sin and all that, You've heard that a lot as well.
Yeah, the ends justifies the means, right?
Yeah, it's just hypocrisy to the highest level. Yeah, we didn't know what the show was going to be about. We didn't know, even though FFRF sent us an email, but we didn't really know. It's just, hypocrisy. On a different note, I just wanted to say that I hope FFRF is heavily recruiting right now, because I predict that they're going to have dozens, if not hundreds, of cases like this throughout the US in the near future. They're doing incredible work right now and have been for years. But I think the next few years are going to be on the next level. So consider supporting them if you can. But more importantly, be safe, everyone, because it's going to be a bumpy ride.
It's already been a bumpy ride. I think we've already done at least one story that was similar to this, with high school kids being bused to a ministry, basically. John, do you think the school authorities knowingly turned a blind eye to Drake and his Christian message?
I would say they definitely are. They definitely knew, and they definitely are hiding it. The schools there already have an awful lot of religion in them, and it's something that since I did live there at one point, they are. There's a church on every corner. It's always Southern Baptist. I saw, I think, one Lutheran once, and it was kind of like unusual. But so it's like these people have Christianity as a mindset and a way of life there. They don't always say what they're, but they usually do, and it's usually some sort of moral superiority thing about being Christian, and and it's just like, it's kind of really, really creepy there. So I am sure that the school boards, which are probably totally full of evangelical Christians, are going to turn a blind eye to everything this guy does, regardless of what it is. And so to get people to accept their religion. You would think that lying and deceit would be an anathema to these Christian bullshit peddlers, but in that particular state, it's kind of rampant. Everybody's a freaking preacher there. But everything is legal to convert everybody to a racist, anti-human religion that condones and encourages abuse of marginalized communities. It is sickening. They give their own children lifelong trauma through their belief system. This is enough to get you sick to your stomach, but I'm all puked out. I can't get emotional about this anymore. It is overwhelmingly evil. He even admits he's lying to the school district, will not do anything because he gives them plausible deniability. Unfortunately, FRFF took that from him for the future because they told him what this guy was doing. So they can't claim they don't know anymore, but they will. So, it's sort of like, here, little kid, you want some candy? That's real creepy, dude. I'm just kind of like, his deflection away from real harm being done to people is just amazing.
Hey, AJ, it seemed like Drake went to the high school with a particular idea of what he was doing there. I mean, he didn't go there just to do an illusion show. Would you agree to that? And what do you think that his real motivation was for going there?
Absolutely. Drake and his wife had no intention of performing a magic show, an illusion show, just to entertain or to even somewhat educate these teenagers. The ultimate goal was to evangelize them, to proselytize them. He posted on his own social media saying that we always want to point the students to a nighttime event where we can share the gospel with them. We never want to do just a show. We wouldn't travel with our girls if it was just about performing and entertaining. So, I mean, he also clarified on his social media as well that they have a passion for reaching communities through their schools. Like, it doesn't get any more loud and clear than that. He is publicly letting everybody know that his original intention was to get these kids from the school to the church.
He didn't make any bones about it. That's what I am here to do, this and this alone. Do it while I'm entertaining the kids so they get a good feeling about coming. I think is part of the deal too. I did
Pretty
some
disgusting.
It is kind of disgusting. I did check out his website. He does have his own website. And I got to make a comment on a couple of things that were said there. Brian and Carla Drake have performed for hundreds of thousands of people over the past 10 years. They have witnessed the amazing grace of God firsthand as thousands of people at their show have surrendered their lives to follow Jesus. Now, I'm reading this and I'm thinking, well, they admit that they had hundreds of thousands of people, but they were only able to convert 1,000. So they don't seem very effective if they're only reaching 1 in 100 people. They got a lot more work to do. And I thought it was also interesting that the last part of that sentence, that these people have surrendered their lives to follow Jesus. I mean, he's just directly coming out and saying that you cannot be in charge of your own life if you want to follow Jesus. You have to give up your life. And to Jesus, you no longer have your own life. I thought that was a pretty interesting thing. Cindy, do you think if there was one message you can give about this story, what would it be?
Don't trust religious people, I guess. I know we can't generalize like this because there are genuine and honest Christian and Muslim, but it feels like every time a religious person has power, they tend to use it in order to impose their religion to other people. I don't see that in most of Europe, except a few exceptions, but it's clear in many parts of the world, the US, many countries in South America, in Africa, in Asia, and it's everywhere. And it's hard to fight this all the time. And again, AJ said, Eman Mehta does, no, you said that, Kelly, sorry. He does a really great job looking around the internet and bringing us those stories. And we need more people like this because there are a lot of stories like this. On the website where we found this article, I found another one that was interesting and talked about one missionary that was sent to work with orphanages, and they had some interesting insights. This article is pretty interesting, so go to their website and read a little bit of what they say. It will give you an insight on how they think. But other than that, yes, it's just stay out of school, stay out of public office, and separation of church and state.
Yeah, yeah. John, there was this big bait and switch, and I don't know that you could call that. I mean, we've all kind of said it was the wrong thing to do, but what do you think is the ultimate lesson that high schoolers are getting from this bait and switch technique?
Well, I think the ones that fall for it are getting no lesson from it. The ones who watch it happening and go, man, that's not right. They're the ones who are learning that Christianity is a bunch of bullshit, that they're lying about everything, and they're trying to make them think the world is broken and that they're broken. And they need the church to fix them. They need their relationship with Jesus to fix them. And that's not going to fix anything. It never has. And, for thousands of years, rulers have used religion in order to enslave and keep the working people working for them, because they'll get their reward in the next life. That is one of the biggest grifts that's ever been placed on any public for the last 5,000 or 6,000 years, maybe longer. And this is just because they need the poor to work for free or to work for very low wages so they can acquire wealth in such large quantities. And as long as they believe, they will be better off in the next life. Just sacrifice everything to fill in the blank, and you will be saved from the shitty world that we have created for you. They're the ones who made it that way, and then now they're going to save you from it. That is just such an obvious grift. It's really sad. And we see parallels to that today, pretty much. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, Drake has his own organization, too, called Ground Zero. AJ, can you give us a little bit of information about that?
Yeah, this is the third part of the whole 3-part bait and switch, where they get them from the school all the way to Ground Zero. That's the main goal. And so Ground Zero is like a religious ministry, and they promote cultivating the lives of teenagers through faith, or as we like to call it, indoctrination. Now, their website claims that they use high-quality current events, entertainment, and experiences to capture the attention of teenagers and impact them for Christ, right? I think this is really, really creepy, because they are using things that they know these teenagers are interested in order to get them hooked into the whole religious aspect of it. Now, their website also has a part of it that's labeled biblical positions. This shows you where they proudly share that they are pro-life, is loaded with purity culture ideologies like abstinence before marriage, extremely homophobic messaging, and it's all stated clearly along with their proper Bible verse that defends that position, and that they're using to indoctrinate and teach all of these ideals to these teenagers that come to their Ground Zero organization. I find it highly problematic.
Yeah, I do too. I really do too. One of the things that I really want to stress here is I don't want to take away from the ACA, because the ACA does a lot of wonderful work. They've built a wonderful community. They're out there doing things. But I think if after you support the ACA, if you got a couple of bucks left over, send it to the Freedom from Religion Foundation, because they really are out there on the front lines of this battlefield. I mean, Cindy, it's a hard fight, you know, and sometimes it gets a little disheartening, and yet these guys are out there every single day. They got lawyers out there actually fighting these things that we're bitching about here on this show. So like I said, if you got a couple of bucks left over after you've supported the ACA, please support the FFRF. This story really got to me. I really don't like seeing kids taken advantage of like this. And I think it sent the wrong message that here, hey, you know, it's all right to lie. It's all right to lie as long as the ends justifies the means. And I've never been a believer in that. Now, what I'd like to do is ask the panel, maybe as our last question, and bring it around to everybody. Do you think that the lesson that was being taught here was a good lesson? And if you were a high schooler, what would you take out of it? And let's start with AJ, because she's right next to me.
Yeah, no, I do not find that to be a positive message at all. You know, I think that Drake wanted to share a message with teenagers that said, yeah, we live in a beat up, broken world, and, you know, here's why. And then he's clearly about to teach them the typical Christian doctrine that ensures that you can't ever be good enough. And that's why you need Jesus. Like, you are weak. And he wants to know that sins rather than choices are what make this world such a horrible place, right? And then, you know, suddenly you can go, poof, be saved whenever you let Jesus into your heart and your minds and your body. And it's just creepy. It's just creepy. That's the message I get out of it.
Well, they want weak people. They're telling you they want you to surrender. They want weak people, right?
Yeah.
John, what are your thoughts on that?
I really think that the whole doctrine of the world is a broken place. Yeah, you guys made it that way. You've had 2,000 years to screw this place up and your religious bullshit. And you have. And so you make something screwed up enough to where people, you can use it as an argument for them to join your group, you know, and then you tell them that they're broken and that they need to, you know, stay in the place so that they can get unbroken. But they're not going to get unbroken here on earth. They're going to get unbroken sometimes else after they died. So they get the entire lifetime of these people, draining them of their wealth and their blood until they die. And then they're supposed to get a non-existent reward, right? This is just brutal. We know that there's not going to be anything after you die. People, you're not broken. If you feel broken, go to a legitimate therapist and work on it. These churches do nothing for you. Faith does nothing for you. It's just a bunch of lies to cover up and put lipstick on that pig, okay? You're not broken. Don't let them tell you you're broken, because you're not. You're a human being. You have failings, but that doesn't mean you're broken. That just means you're human and you're operating like all the other humans, which means you're not broken, okay?
Or either that or just all broken. Cindy, what are your final thoughts?
You know, I've been saying for years that if we stop teaching religion before the age of 18, religions will disappear in a couple decades. I know this is not realistic because people will always want to decide what they teach their children at home, and that's fair. But in this time where so much bad information on purpose or by accident is shared and found on the internet and with people around you, I think we need to start thinking as a society how we can value the truth first, and then how we can fight all this disinformation and misinformation. And that includes religion. That's my last word. We need to have this talk as a society.
And I say this all the time, teach science before religion.
I agree. As a scientist, I'm all for that. And you can buy all kinds of really cool ACA stuff at tiny.cc/ACA merch. And if you want to hear more from the nonprofits, because this is a great group of people to listen to, you can find it by clicking right here.